Hey, what's up? Today we have a story on safe injection sites and a lot more psychedelics getting in the hands of the government. So first up, we have been kind of following a story in Philadelphia about a safe consumption site or safe injection site there in the city that has been going through all of these hurdles to get up and running. Basically, they had finally passed all of the hurdles, and then the Trump administration, way back when Trump was in office, kind of put the brakes on everything and did not allow it through the courts, did not allow this site to open up. And since then, they had petitioned to the Supreme Court trying to get them to hear the case. They did not. Turns out today we found out that they did not hear the case. They rejected hearing the case. And that kind of leaves the safe consumption site called Safe House. That kind of leaves Safe House in a tricky position. It means that they have to go down to a lower federal court in Philadelphia for them to hear the case. And it doesn't seem like this is going anywhere because there was so much momentum that was built up from them trying to get the Supreme Court to hear the case. There were 10 attorneys general from different states that had signed briefs to get to plead for the Supreme Court to hear the case. That, along with mayors across the country, advocates across the country signing briefs to get the Supreme Court to hear it, it's becoming a bigger and bigger issue. And they even got to the point where they tried to get Biden to show his stance on it, and he has yet to kind of lay his cards out there. He hasn't said whether he agrees with the idea of safe consumption sites or not. Personally, I think it's a good thing that the Supreme Court isn't hearing this, because I don't believe that the Supreme Court, the way it's built right now with its kind of Republican lean to it, would vote in favor. The strategies that they have right now are to say that it's a religious freedom, and they should be able to kind of, let's actually read that exactly. The court cannot tell us we're not allowed to follow our faith. In this instance, we say, as people of faith and conscience, we believe that if you can save a life, you must save a life. I think that's a little thin. I do believe in the idea of safe consumption sites and safe injection sites. I believe that they're extremely necessary. At least it's kind of a stopgap measure. It's before, of course, you have to look at the long-term ways to fix addiction, but in the short term, you also have to stop overdoses from happening, fatal overdoses from happening. You have to stop disease spreading from unsanitary conditions and all of these things. It's silly to not put any emphasis on the short term and only look at the long term, when the long term is it's a very difficult road, and so it's going to take a long time. And in the meantime, you're having people dying. So I do believe in the idea of safe consumption sites, but the idea to say it's a religious freedom thing, I guess maybe that's their way. That's probably their only way forward in legal terms, but it seems a little loose to me. I don't know. We'll see. I would think that they would have better chances in lower federal courts that are probably more conscientious of these things. All in all, what this has done is kind of a win-win. It gave it a lot more traction. It gave it a lot more of a spotlight that it didn't have before, and you're not having the Supreme Court vote maybe not in favor, and then it kind of leaves it in rubble after that. So I'm happy with this path. Next up, Marijuana Moment has put a really nice little article together about the amount of drugs that the DEA is asking for research next year, and it's so much more than it has been ever before. It shows that the amount of research that we're going to get this decade is going to be insane. For starters, the DEA wants to double the amount of marijuana extracts and psilocybin. They've already been dealing with a lot in those two instances, so doubling that would be a whole bunch. And then they want to quadruple mescaline and quintuple DMT. I think the reason quintuple, it sounds like a whole lot, but they probably didn't start with much. So quintupling would mean that they're actually starting to take DMT serious, and they want to do a lot of research into it and see what it's all about. Finally, what they really, really want to get into is MDMA, which they want to increase the amount that they have for research by 6,300%. That's a huge amount of MDMA, and we're seeing a lot of MDMA research come out and a lot of good news about MDMA and how it can help people with depression and anxiety. So that would be cool. And then to finish it off, LSD would have a 1,150% increase. And here's some charts that Marijuana Moment put together. This is marijuana. So marijuana and marijuana extract obviously would be going up. The blue is the proposed in 2022. Then to psilocybin, psilocin, and MDMA. Look at that huge increase with MDMA on the right there. That is crazy. I mean, it also, again, shows that they really haven't been taking it seriously before now, but they are, and they really want to do a lot of research into it. And finally, we have LSD, mescaline, and DMT. DMT, huge leap. LSD, huge leap. MDA, huge leap. So yeah, this is great. I can't wait to see more research come out, because almost everything we're seeing with psychedelics is that it's so beneficial and it can do so much for people with depression and anxiety, and not even people with depression and anxiety. It can benefit people who are stuck in their ways, who have kind of been in a lull in their life, and they have this wonderful psychedelic trip or experience, and all of a sudden they see things for how they are. The huge expanse that we're going to see in this arena is really exciting, and it's going to happen all in this decade. So good stuff. That's what we have for today. That's all of the stories and stuff, and then we'll be back. You know what? I'm going to be flying to the East Coast. I'm from Pennsylvania, so I'm going to be there next week. I'll be off on Monday, but I'll be back on Wednesday with more stuff. See you then.
Play pass me the ball. Alright, if I get this in, you gotta kiss me. Okay.